Radio Now 100.9's Indy Connection with Emily Metheny.
Hello, I'm Emily Metheny, your host. This week, I spoke with Debbie Laswell, Development and Program Director for the Indiana Women in Need Foundation. IWIN assists women and men while they are fighting breast cancer by relieving someone's emotional, physical, and financial burdens. Debbie started our conversation by telling us more about IWIN and its history.
The IWIN Foundation is actually Indiana Women in Need, although I like to always say that we serve men as well. So what we do is support individuals statewide who are receiving treatment for breast cancer by relieving emotional, physical, and financial burdens. And like I said, although breast cancer is predominantly, a woman's or a female disease, definitely does impact men as well. And so over the course of our history, we've served, about 16 men as well. Let's see, we started in the year 2000. Our founder was working with a woman who was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she was a very young mother. And so through that experience, Nancy saw how difficult it was to, go through treatment, take care of children, when you can't lift, you're trying to lift children, do housework, continue working through chemotherapy appointments and dozens of radiation appointments. And so, in seeing that, at that time, a lot of the money was focused on research, which is incredibly important, but she saw a need for help with practical things during treatment as well. And so her goal was to relieve some of those burdens. So IWIN now has an application process, and we talk through with patients what would be most helpful to them. So whether they need help with meal preparation, transportation support, we've paid for child care or elder care. We have paid for housekeeping services, yard maintenance, wellness classes, kind of runs the gamut. But we try to assess what burdens are most pressing, and help people stay in treatment, stay engaged in their treatment, and ultimately, hopefully have better outcomes. So that's really the crux of what we do. And then in terms of scope, the IWIN Foundation serves women and men statewide. We have had recipients from every single, of the 92 counties in Indiana. And we serve about 500 Hoosiers each year who are fighting breast cancer.
That's amazing. And when people are able to focus on their treatment, where you're able to take that burden off of them, how are you seeing that's allowing them to heal more?
Yeah, so, we believe, and research points to the fact that when people have some of these burdens taken off of their shoulders, that they are better able to engage. A few statistics that are just nationally known. So 20 to 30% of breast cancer patients will lose their jobs while they are in treatment. And so just building on that, it's been said that 73% of patients will consider altering or skipping medication or treatments to save money. So we know that these financial difficulties really can, desperately impact treatment and the outcomes of the disease. So women in general, a lot of times they'll reduce spending on household essentials like food, things like that, if they know that treatment costs or medical costs are getting out of control. And we actually received an evaluation from one woman who lives in Greenfield, and she said that she was eating every other day, but when IWIN stepped in and was providing some help with meals, she was able to eat every day. And so that's just one example of the impact that these services can make. Another example was a nurse navigator from Anderson, Indiana, gave us a call and said that she had a patient with very treatable, earlier stage breast cancer, but the woman's husband had dementia, and she was nervous about leaving him home either alone or with someone who was unskilled so she could go to treatment. And so once again, we stepped in, we provided elder care, someone to, watch her husband while she was at treatment, and she went on to treatment and is doing well now. And so, these are situations where, people would consider not getting treatment because of these barriers or things in their way. So.
And these barriers that you mentioned, they can range from food to childcare, elder care, just.
Yeah, I think a lot of us, don't think about these things. And really, until you've been in those shoes, it's hard to imagine the walk that a cancer patient walks. And yesterday I was talking to a young mom from Bloomington, and it was something I hadn't thought about, but she said what a relief and just stress relief it would be to have help with housekeeping. Through chemotherapy, she's going to lose her fingernails, and so she had said that housekeeping, without fingernails is very difficult for her. And so, our goal is to step in, lighten the burden, decrease anxiety, improve treatment outcomes ultimately, if we can remove some of this stress and some of these burdens.
And you mentioned some of the statistics earlier, but on your website you have this wonderful graphic that talks a little bit about the demographics, IWIN's contributions. Can you talk a little bit about the demographics and the contributions that IWIN has?
Yeah, so as I said, we've been serving people since the year 2000, and so we've distributed now $2.4 million in services and served almost 6,500 patients overall. Mainly, so about 75% of our recipients have a household income of under $50,000 per year. So we, definitely look at that. We do serve anyone, though, because we feel like, no one budgets for breast cancer. And so, there are many of us who may also be middle income, but really struggle with high deductible insurance plans, making co-pays, the extra cost of trying to eat healthy during treatment, or finding, food that works. So a lot of people need to purchase Boost or Ensure, and those are not cheap. And just gas costs, you think about that. So, a patient going through radiation typically has 4 to 6 weeks every day going to radiation. And so if a patient from Connorsville needs to drive an hour to their treatment every day, well, that, those gas costs add up, and that's not something that people have budgeted for typically. So, even it provides a temporary just insurgence of help into the situation, which lightens the load for many, many of our patients. So.
And so if someone wants to apply, how do they do that?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways. I would say the vast majority of our patients learn about IWIN through a nurse navigator, an oncologist, a social worker, so someone in their healthcare team. We try to make contact with, all Indiana cancer centers, and so many of them already have our application, and we'll give it to patients who they assess to have, great need. But the other way is simply, to go onto our website, We have a request for application, and so, going to iwinfoundation.org, people can download the application or request that we send them a hard copy.
Excellent. And if someone's in a position to give, because we are coming up to the holiday season, how can they donate to IWIN?
Yeah, absolutely. So anyone who wants to donate to IWIN, once again, on our website, on the main page, we have a Donate Online Now button. So if someone wants to donate in that manner, that's wonderful. We also obviously have a P.O. box. And this time of year, as you mentioned, I think with Breast Cancer Awareness Month, there's, a lot more interest in organizations like IWIN, and we appreciate it so much, and we love to be able to share information about our mission and how important this is. Also, a lot of folks toward year end are looking at making charitable contributions, even for tax purposes. And so we're happy to provide more information about our mission, whatever information we can provide, because we believe so strongly, in doing this and advocating for our patients and making sure they have what they need to have the strength to endure during their treatment.
Mm-hmm. And if someone's not in a position to give financially, is there a way that they can volunteer with your organization?
Yeah, so we have several volunteer opportunities. We actually just at the beginning of October completed our Pink Pajama Party, which is our annual, trademark kind of fundraiser. And so we work throughout the year to make that a reality. And so we'll be starting, early next year to start planning of that. And so we have a lot of volunteer committees that go along with that. We also have, we understand that, many people aren't in a position to give, and especially following the devastation of COVID, it's impacted a lot of people financially. And so one of the things that people can do to get involved too is join in our annual campaign called 100 Women in 100 Days. And through that campaign, people can create their own fundraising pages, so they don't even necessarily have to be able to give. They can create a fundraising page and maybe, put that out on social media channels to, friends and family who are able to maybe give a bit. We know, in this business that every dollar counts. And so obviously so grateful for any gifts, whether it's $1 or $10 or $100, we, appreciate everything. And IWIN was really based on community. And so just, we, again, just are grateful to have a lot of community involvement. A lot of people create third-party fundraisers for us, too. So a church fundraiser, a community fundraiser. We've been supported through volleyball games and pink out games of basketball teams. And so it really runs the gamut. And we are deeply indebted to our community for helping us and advocating for our mission.
Mm-hmm. And if someone wants to do one of these community events, what is the best way to get started or make sure you know what's going on? Do they need to let you know before they do it?
It is a great idea to just give us a call, and again, I would be the contact for that. And we do have a third-party fundraiser event form. Basically, it just gives us your contact information. It's a great way to get our logo if you would need it for, any advertising or marketing. And so it's a good idea to just have that on hand so we know what's going on. And then also we can lend a hand if any assistance is needed, or pamphlets or brochures, or so it's, like I said, just a great communication tool. And so, and people can find information about that as well on our website.
Mm-hmm. And Debbie, just as we start to wrap up, when we put an emphasis and make a month out of focusing on breast cancer, what does that do for the conversation surrounding breast cancer?
Yeah, so I think when we look at breast cancer, I think it's amazing. I realize that it is highlighted sometimes because it does have a month dedicated to it. I think it's been good in many respects. As we know, 1 in 8 women in the United States will be impacted, not even impacted by breast cancer. They will get a breast cancer diagnosis. Many, many more of us are impacted by breast cancer. And so I think those statistics are so dire that, most all of us know someone who has been diagnosed, and so all of us understand what this means. 2, I think it's made women know what to look for. It's made self-exams prevalent. It's highlighted the importance of mammograms. So I think, and also it's furthered research. We know now that there are so many different types of breast cancer, and they're all different, and it's unique to everyone who gets this diagnosis. And so all of these messages are so important. And, honestly, it helps us further our research for other cancers as well. But, financially, research shows that breast cancer is one of the highest cost malignancies to deal with as a society and as an individual. And so, definitely this highlighting of breast cancer is so important. And again, we're just very grateful to be able to serve the community, to serve Indiana, and to help people on their journey through treatment.
Excellent. And is there a way that people can keep in contact with you on social media? Do you do a newsletter? How can people stay in contact?
Yeah, we do have a newsletter. So again, just, going to our website, letting us know you're interested in being on our email list. We do a newsletter typically quarterly, and then send out updates, especially, around the October timeframe. We try to update people on all the things going on, but we have great opportunities along the way for, we often receive, maybe tickets to different events like the upcoming Nutcracker, Indianapolis Ballet Show. And so survivors can find out about different opportunities like that. And so, yeah, we love people to stay in touch with us and, have their interest in what's going on with IWIN.
Excellent. So if anyone's looking to connect and be part of the community with IWIN, they can go to IWINfoundation.org.
Correct.
And Debbie, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, just I guess in general, a huge thanks to you for allowing us the opportunity to share our mission and what we do and its importance, and just appreciate all of the support. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was Debbie Laswell, Development and Program Director for the Indiana Women in Need Foundation. Thank you for joining me this week, and please join me again next time. If you want to reach out or have topics you'd like me to cover, email me at emetheny, that's EMETHENY, at radio-one.com. Or you can message me on Twitter at EmilyDoesVideo. To hear past episodes or just keep up to date with what's happening at the station, follow us on all social media at RadioNOW1009 or visit our website at radionowindy.com. Until we talk again, have a great week.
Radio Now 100.9's Indy Connection with Emily Metheny.